Hello everyone, welcome to the very first weekly digression. This is a new format I've started where I will have unstructured and unscripted discussions with all of you, or should I say digressions with all of you? Yes, digressions with all of you. At some point in the future, these will be done live once we have a big enough and more loyal community, but in the meantime, these will be recorded. The idea behind these weekly digressions is to provide you content while I work on the more scripted and structured content, because that takes, a couple of weeks to a few months to turn around. So this way, there's some content coming in and I can keep you updated on what's happening. And we'll do a lot of behind the scenes. We'll do a lot of discussions with the videos that I've already published. So you'll get more information and we can have some unstructured discussions as to why certain things are happening the way they're happening. So why don't we get started with some housekeeping stuff? So I recently cleaned my house over the weekend and now I have to clean it again over this weekend. It seems to never end. Ooh, and I made some slow cooked lamb. I mean, that was absolutely divine. Like, it genuinely was one of the best things I've ever made in my life. Has me contemplating whether I should be working on Dygres or should I, open up a restaurant. Maybe I'll do both. We'll see. But no, let's get serious. Let's talk about my most recent video, which was Generation Social Media, the one that got a lot of attention, that got a lot of attention from all of you. One day I'll get media attention, but it got a lot of attention from all of you. And, people loved the thumbnail on that one. I think that was really fun and it was fun to do. It was a very entertaining video. I spent a lot of time researching that video. I think I started researching that video sometime in 2022. And then I started writing the script for it in 2023 of October. And I went through multiple iterations. I must have gone through a dozen iterations, and the first version of the script was at least like 50 plus pages. And it covered everything from algorithms, advertising, free speech, censorship, God knows, every aspect of social media. And then I had this brainwave in June or maybe July that I should break it down into a series of videos. The first one is an overview of the situation, and then I individually cover a bunch of topics, and that's the direction that I'm taking in right now. Now, the video was doing pretty well. Like, it was delayed because it was supposed to go live on Friday of last week, but then I overestimated my abilities, which I usually do, and then it went live on Saturday instead. And it got a lot of attention. Like, I think it was doing really, really well. And then Monday morning, I get an email from YouTube, and it goes like, well, your video is blocked because of a content claim from The Guardian. So what happened was there was a section in the video where I had this interview from a whistleblower from Cambridge Analytica, where they basically talked about how much information Cambridge Analytica had on Facebook users. Everything from your private messages, likes, status updates, the friends list, the apps you've used, basically everything that you did on Facebook, they had access to. And I wanted to use that particular clip because it drove home the point of how easy it is for third-party apps to just get access to your information. Because, whether you use Facebook to sign into other platforms or whether you use Facebook to, use an app on their platform, whatever the case may be, Cambridge Analytica and other third parties basically had access to all of that information, and they used it against Facebook users. They used it to manipulate Facebook users. They used it to change the opinion of their users. They ensured that they could somehow convince people to vote a certain way. If you were someone that wanted to vote for, let's say, the letter A, they could convince you to vote for the letter B. They could do this, and it's not like it's not documented. It's absolutely documented. And I mean, the company was shut down behind this. There were inquiries behind this. Anyway, so I used the YouTube editor to trim out that section. It's up there now, and it still makes sense. But what I have done is I pinned a comment in on that video where you can go and watch the interview from The Guardian, and I highly recommend that you go and watch that interview because it's absolutely one of those things that really make you think, like, my God, like, what has become of the world? Like, what has become of people? Like, is this what they're doing with our data right now? And a lot of us are taking this lightly, which I think is one of the biggest mistakes, because we become complacent with what our lives have become. Like, we become so comfortable being online that we've forgotten that all our information is online. Everything we do is online, from our shopping, from the work we do, from the content we consume. Everything is online. It's essentially a version of us lives online, and all these algorithms and all these third-party apps and the way the systems are designed, they are basically trying to understand our behavior. They're trying to understand who we are as a person, and then how can they manipulate us? How can they get us to spend more money? How can they get us to believe something that isn't true, or believe something that goes against what we consider to be true? And that should be terrifying. And the more and more we consume, the more and more we immerse ourselves online, which we are already doing, the more information these companies have against us. And while Cambridge Analytica shut down Facebook, what did they get? Maybe a couple of fines, a slap on the wrist. And now they've doubled down with Meta AI. And I'm just waiting for the day when we're going to have another inquiry where Zuckerberg is in front of Congress again, going like, well, yeah, we're sorry. I'm sorry, but we'll do it again. No one's going to stop us. This should terrify you. Trust me, this should really, really terrify you. But what I also want to talk about with that video is, so I have this plan of now breaking it into parts. So my next focus is either a video on algorithms or advertising. Now I have plans for both of them, but I had this major brainwave over the weekend where with the advertising one, I'm going to do something similar to what I did in the Generation Social Media video. For those of you that watched it, I did this thing where I played these notification sounds throughout the video to kind of show you how you're going to quickly look at your phone or glance at your WhatsApp tab. I have something in mind for advertising as well, but this one will require that you take part in this experiment with me. Don't worry, you're not going to be signing up to anything. You're not going to do anything. It'll be completely harmless, and I'll show you how it's done. I'm going to run some tests this week and the next week to see if it's even possible. I think it should be possible. Because it has been done before, but we'll see. I want to do it at scale, so this way there's no way they can escape. But anyways, so that's one, and I have something similar in mind for algorithms as well. I think collectively we can manipulate the algorithms to do something that they're not designed to do. I'm gonna run some tests locally with some friends to see if it's even possible. I think it should be, but it might be far more difficult than the advertising one. We'll see. Those videos are going to take time. Maybe I should have a poll in the comments where you can tell me which one you want me to do, whether it's algorithms or advertising. I'm leaning towards advertising. I think you should all too, but it's your choice at the end of the day, or is it? What else? The work from home video. So the work from home video, I published that a few months ago, and that one has attracted a lot of attention. It's even been featured in some media articles someone sent me. I'll see if I can find the link. I didn't really read it, but it was in a different language. And it's now surpassed 6,000 views. It's on its way to 7,000 views. It's got me a lot of subscribers. Most of you are here because of that video. And most of you, had a lot to say about work from home. I mean, I've read the comments. I've read the emails from all of you. And what's interesting is that I've had some hiring managers and recruiters also reach out to me, and I had discussions with them at length. I had one discussion with a hiring manager, a senior hiring manager for one of the big companies, and they basically said that, the return to office mandate that they have for their company is basically a disguise to reduce headcount. And I didn't believe them at first because I had this discussion with them a few weeks ago or something like that. And then this week, the news started to come out that, Amazon, Dell, Meta, HP, all these companies that are having this forced return to office mandate, they're basically using it as a disguise to reduce their headcount because they're losing money, or because, they want to have their quarterly reports look really, really good, and they can't have a huge headcount and a loss in revenue, or however they structure it. But, when that person said that, I was very skeptical, but I was also open-minded at the same time, because I was like, if a hiring manager from this company is reaching out to me, they have something to say, and turns out it's true. Turns out it's actually happening. And, given the research that I've done for the work from home video, given the research that I've done in general regarding work from home, it's absolutely apparent that this push right now is to please investors and commercial real estate landlords. I mean, commercial real estate has taken a serious nosedive, and landlords are not happy. They want to show busy offices so they can justify the amount of money they're investing in building new skyscrapers and offices and buildings, or whatever you want to call it. And I can see that happening. Like, Amazon's whole push to the office makes absolutely no sense. People have been working fine from home. People have been making money for the company from home. But still, we have people complain about, like, well, you need to be back in the office. And part of it is the double standards. You take, for example, the Starbucks CEO. The man who was recently hired as the new Starbucks CEO gets to work from home from a different state altogether, different city altogether, and then gets to fly to the Starbucks headquarters on a weekly basis, once a week or twice a week, whatever it is, to come to the office. But he's allowed to work from home. Meanwhile, Starbucks corporate employees are not allowed to work from home. So how does that double standard work? Why does he get to work from home but the employees don't? These are the types of questions we should be asking. And work from home in general is also a very controversial topic. Anytime someone mentions work from home, whether they're working for a company or there's someone on YouTube like me, then it becomes a big point of contention. Like, I've had comments where people have said things like, well, why do you get to work from home and I don't? Well, because your job is something that requires you to be there in person. Like, you're not going to fix a car if you're working from home. Like, that's just not happening. We don't have the technology yet to do that, right? Or if it's someone that goes like, well, I work in an oil rig. Well, son, how are you going to work from home if you work on an oil rig? Like, it's absolutely not possible. You have to be there. It's physical work. But for those of us that work in offices, that work on a computer, we don't have to be there. We're doing the environment a favor. We're doing our time a favor. We're doing our bank accounts a favor. It's absolutely strange that people harbor these opinions. Like, I don't understand it. I should post that comment. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. I'll think about it. But there is a comment on the work from home video where someone has basically said this, and it was the dumbest thing I've ever read in my life. And I've read some pretty stupid stuff in my life. Like, I genuinely have. But that was just such a stupid take from a stupid person. Anyways, what else should we talk about? Let's talk about Dygres, the social platform. So that is a platform I am really hard at work on. Like, I'm genuinely working on it night and day. I haven't done much this week, I'll be honest with you. Not because, I was being lazy or something, but because, there is a transition period happening now where I am sort of like finalizing the menu hierarchy. I'm finalizing, the copy. I have all the copy already done. Like, it's completely done, but I'm trying to figure out where the copy goes, where the menus are going to be placed. Version 0.3 is a big departure from what you have right now. Like, this much I promise you. Version 0.3, like, my plan is to bring you pictures, videos, and a chat function. So you can chat. Now, I'll be transparent with you. We're not taking the database that we have with version 0.2 to version 0.3. Like, that's not happening. So it'll be a start from scratch. And I am considering making it as an invite-only platform. The reason behind that is because now that we're going to have pictures and videos, like, someone has to pay for the bandwidth, and like, that is not cheap. So it might go invite only. But my goal is to build a strong community with version 0.3, give you all these features so you can entertain yourself, so you can have something to do on the platform rather than just looking at a wall of text. My plan is to launch it sometime before the end of the year. Like, it's pretty much the state it is in right now. Like, I'm using a template for the theme. That's the first thing. Like, I'm not relying on a designer. There's no designer. There's no dev team as well. I am doing everything myself. Version 0.2 had a decent sized dev team, but I was not happy with the way that proceeded, or the way that was built, and that was completely my fault. Like, I was still sort of figuring out how software is built, but now I have a very, very good idea, very strong idea. Plus, I took some courses myself. I got certified in HTML, CSS, Java. I did Python. So, automation, AI, bunch of things I've done. So now I have a very good idea of what I need to do and how I need to proceed into building Dygres what it needs to be. So 0.3 is going to be the start to the journey to 0.1. Version 1.0. And version 1.0, my aim with version 1.0 is to have a platform where every user that is on the platform, every verified user that is on the platform will get paid regardless of whether they are a consumer or a creator. And there's a whole system that I have worked on behind it, how that system is going to work. And it's not like my own system to, just to be clear with you. This is a system that has been trialed and tested before, but this is something that, we'll take a version of and then we'll implement it into Dygres. And the idea is to make sure that as long as the system is functioning, as long as Dygres, the platform, is functioning, as long as Dygres, the platform, is being used, every verified user on the platform is going to get paid. And that is the goal. And this is not going to come through advertising, mind you. There will be no advertising on Dygres, because I'm done with advertisers. Like, I'm really, really annoyed with advertisers. And it, like I said, it will be live sometime before the end of the year. One day you're going to go to Dygres.com, you're going to open up the page, and it's going to look completely different. It's going to look like something else entirely, but it will still be Dygres. We're going to lose a lot of things that the current version of Dygres has. We're going to lose a lot of the sort of like thematic elements that we had on the current version of Dygres, but this is part of the process, right? You lose a lot of stuff, but then you gain a ton of stuff. So that is going to happen with the new version of Dygres. God, I think this is becoming a really long weekly digression, but then again, it's the weekend. You can watch this over the weekend. What else should we talk about? I think that's everything that I wanted to cover in this weekly digression. This is a new format, like I said. I'm still working out the kinks. I hope you stick around and watch this one. I hope you get a behind the scenes as to what's going on, and then hopefully the future versions of this weekly digression, one day we'll be doing it live, but the future versions will be more brief, more concise, more detailed, more entertaining. And as I get comfortable talking in front of the camera, unstructured and unscripted, it's not easy, by the way, it's extremely difficult. But I think that's all I wanted to talk about today. That's everything that I wanted to cover. Let's see. I wanted to talk about this weekly digression, wanted to talk about some housekeeping stuff. I wanted to talk about generation social media. Then I wanted to talk about the work from home video, and then digress the platform. So, oh yes, one last thing before I forget to mention. Just last week when I made that video, Generation Social Media, we were at 353 subscribers, 353. Today morning I checked, because I check every morning and then every hour after that. We were at 406 subscribers, and that is amazing. Like adding 50 subscribers, 50 plus subscribers, my mind is blown. So really, genuinely, I'm so grateful for all of you coming here, liking my content, sharing my content, all the people that email me, all the comments that I receive, and all the shares of my video. Like a lot of people have started to share my video. It means the world to me. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week on another weekly digression. I'll have to figure out the thumbnails for this one, but I'll see you next week on another weekly digression. So until then, take care and have a wonderful weekend.